does racing anymore? I don't know. Mark Tucker does racing. That's who does racing. And we are going to talk to him today. Look, we got 300 subscribers on our YouTube channel last week. That was my plea to everybody. So thank you. Actually, I think we're up to 302. Don't I feel like vegan cyclist or the other guy that's out there? We're going to talk to Mark. He's done some racing. He was going to do some more racing, and they're canceling that. So we welcome in Mark Tucker of Velo Kings Racing. I don't know. You tell me the exact name of your team. How are you doing today, Mark?
Hey, I'm doing good. Yeah, Velo Kings Racing, presented by ATP Coaching.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that's a real background out there. It looks so pristine. It looks fake, but you're telling me that's your backyard.
This is a lot quieter than indoors with 3 daughters. So yeah, this is
so
best,
how right. And by the way, we're live. So if anybody wants to join in comments, we'll put them up on the screen. You have questions for Mark, assuming that they're related to cycling and not in the rude section.
I'll let you screen those.
Well, I don't know if you want me to be the barrier of that.
Probably not.
So how is it going with, we're now another year almost in with COVID. How is it going with the 3 kids at home and anybody making progress with parenthood and children and school?
Yeah, everyone's we're adjusted pretty good. 2 oldest are in high school and the youngest is 4th grader. So she's having 3 girls, and the youngest is having the toughest time. I think it's asking a lot for a 4th grader to stare at a screen every day. Plus she takes after me. So, hey, did you get all your homework done? Yeah, I did. And then we get the progress reports are all electronic. So it was a lot easier to lie when I was a kid. So
yeah. My son was doing that. It's just started school, high school this year. And so, I'm all done. I mean, doing the normal things. And we're like, no, we're getting, and teachers are actually coming back and telling us you're not doing it. So, I don't know, lie a little better. He also did a thing where he would bring food home from lunch. Mom would give him stuff and he decided he didn't want it. Instead of just like throwing it away at school, he'd bring it home and put it in his room somewhere. I'm trying to teach him how to lie better. I don't know. We're working on these things.
Yeah.
All right. So you went to this, as your shirt says, Swamp Classic. You went and raced in Georgia and Florida last year. Tell us about the race you just did and where it was, and then we'll break down the racing.
Yeah. It was the Swamp Classic. It was a Omnium. It was originally going to be just 3 individual freestanding events: a road race, a TT, and a criterium. And I think I messaged the Top View guys, the promoters. I'm like, hey, you've got everything but the Omnium points. Why not just do that? And so they ended up doing it. So I was stoked for that. It was in Jacksonville. The road race was in Micanopy, which is spelled My Canopy. And you say it wrong once and you're like definitely an outsider. So Micanopy, baby. 80-mile road race, and on a Saturday, and then after that in the afternoon about 9-mile TT, and then crit on Sunday in Gainesville, which is the nearest big. We flew into Gainesville, about 15 minutes from the road race. So
is that in the Panhandle up there? Is that where they
kind of in the middle?
Okay,
it's
a long time since I've been to Florida.
It's Gainesville, man. It's where where Gainesville is. I don't know.
Right, football.
Yeah, it's there.
I just saw in the background there your dog. Is that the famous skateboarding dog?
Yes, that is Remy, the 1,250-mile skateboard pulling dog in 2020. So, if you see my Strava activities, I don't run. She pulls me, so I log them as that.
That's hey, good for her. Do you put the Strava on you or is it on her? I mean, she gets some steps.
I mean, the GPS records it. It's under my account. I'm too lazy to log out and log in for her. So, and I'm hanging on to the leash. I mean, I'm doing something. I only crash a couple times a year. So,
but were you a skateboarder growing up, or is this just something you did for?
Not really. No, I was more into skiing. I guess an inline skating. Back before that was something you have to change your name if you did in public. But
so true. Did you? So I don't know. Did we talk about this before? Did you do like inline racing, or roller skating, whatever they call that, inline, I guess, skating, racing?
No. I mean, hung onto the bumper of a car every now and again, and got going too fast. But no, I didn't do any racing at all up until bike racing. So my background is I played some baseball, high school baseball, played a little bit afterwards. I snow skied a ton. That was kind of my passion, and blew my back up. And
That's right.
4 years ago, here I am.
That's right. I do recall back in the 90s, they'd go to do a crit, and they would have an inline skate race as well, several laps. So Visalia, that was the big race we did. I remember them out there doing that, and it seemed a little crazy, but I mean, we're no different. We're just doing it on bikes. So
how did you do in that?
No. I did fine watching. That Visalia crit, I've mentioned that a few times when we did it in the 90s. The last corner, they would put bleachers up there because there was always so many wrecks. And the newspaper always talked about it. And people would crowd there, and we'd pile up on that corner.
That was the spot. Yeah, I got to race it once, just a couple years ago.
That's right.
As a 3-4.
All right, let's get to your Swamp Classic there. So
Swamp
Classic. And you know what, this we're just gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk bikes, and it's good to have you on again. So they did turn it into an Omnium. You had a little power then with the promoters. It sounds like.
I don't know if that or it was just a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But so it did turn into an Omnium. I had my crosshairs set on racing 40 plus, and seeing how far I could get. I had good successes doing that with the Tour of North Georgia part 1 and 2, and so I thought hey, if you're gonna make an Omnium, maybe I'll try to win the Omnium. And I was persuaded to race the P12 race instead by one of my teammates, and then actually a couple of the guys that I had raced against last year in Florida and in Georgia had kind of became Facebook friends and messaged, hey, are you coming out and racing this? And one of the guys, I'm like, yeah. And he's like, are you doing the P12? And I was like, hey, the second person that's kind of throwing it out there. So I guess I succumbed to peer pressure and said, all right, I'll race the P12. And then I was going to race the 40 plus and then just double up and do the P1 crit after on Sunday of no consequence, because I would already race my target race earlier. I did the P12 road race TT, and then in between that did the 40 plus crit, and then did the P12 crit. So probably not the ideal order if you're targeting P12.
No, probably not. But a few years ago when I was really pressing for nationals, I would do everything I could, starting with the P12 stuff, just because you're getting the intensity is so much more. Yep. The distance is a little bit more, and then I'd try to throw the other on. And I felt that I wasn't as competitive at all, but it really did help me for later on in the season. When you just do masters only flying, not that you need that hint, but what were the differences were there any differences in the distances for the road race as an example, or even the time trial?
Yeah, the TT was the same. The crit was 60 minutes for masters and 70 minutes for P12, but the road race was like 79 miles, 78 miles, whatever the rounding was. It was 2 more laps, and then the masters was 56 miles. So it was a longer road race. And I was doing it for fitness, also for race IQ. Like I've kind of moved pretty quickly up in racing, but I don't have a ton of experience yet. So I'm trying to get smarter and stronger. And the guy, everyone says, you can't make the same stupid mistakes, Mark, that you do in masters and get away with it. Like, in P12, you're going to pay. And so I'm like, all right, I'll do P12. And that's what I signed up for.
What's interesting is I usually say for most people, and you're just a little different breed, which is you move into even the masters, you're not going to be able to pull off the same gimmicks you did as a 3 or 4. But you're taking that to the P12, which is exactly right. And you see that with the juniors, these guys that just come through so fast, they don't really know, they're so strong. You at Winters a few years ago just decided to go up the front all day, and you hang out there and you just drag everyone along. Now, I don't think you won, but that's what you're talking about, that race IQ and being able to kind of smash through your fitness and make it something else, because you have a bunch of guys that can race strong like you.
Yeah, no, I got if there's a 4-man breakaway, you can guess what place I'm going to get. Now, trying to reverse the curse on that stuff. So.
So let's go to the road race. So was it a hilly road race? I mean, 50 some miles isn't all that hard. Neither is 80. I mean, when I say hard, it's not too much of a difference there. So was it, or what, it can be if it's 10,000 feet of climbing, but I assume it's not there in Florida.
Yeah, this is central Florida. So not a lot of hills. There was just a little, some kind of just uphill 1% and 2%, 3% stuff. But what really made it hard, the road would have these 90-degree corners in them. And, with 73 guys all trying to, get through the same corner and not maybe the same etiquette that I think everyone should have. It fans out 15, 18 wide, and you slow down to 9 miles an hour to get through the corner, and then it just accordions out and you're just on the gas. And it seemed like there was 4 or 5 of those turns at least each lap times 6 laps. So that's what made it challenging. The other thing is they have, in NorCal, we have a center line rule, and I got called for it. Actually, it was the first P12 race. It was Turlock a couple years ago. I got pushed out over the center line, but I had some momentum. I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and take these 4 or 5 bike spots here, and there's a spot right there. I'll cut back over, and hey, I'm a new guy. And Moto Ref whistled and relegated me to last place. But in Florida, they same Moto Ref, same whistles. They blow them a lot, but kind of all they do is blow the whistle. So there's no real consequence towards coming across the center line. There were sections that we were able to take the whole road, but that was definitely different than kind of how things seem to run in NorCal. They're a lot more forgiving.
It seems like one consequence could be oncoming traffic. I don't know.
Yeah, that's certainly could be. And
look, I don't know if you kind of missed out here. Do you know who Chuck Hutchinson is? He just wrote here. He said, double up on road races. That's how you get fit. Chuck is a legend here in NorCal.
Double up on road races. Okay. Right. Not just crits.
Yeah. That's and take his advice. Now you can do that at Winters. No, not Winters. What's the one out there that we do early on this time of the year?
Cantua Creek.
Well, maybe that one too. Tyler Williams won it the last time we did it. Snelling. There you go.
Snelling. Yeah.
Yeah. You can double up on some Snelling ones. So, Chuck, we miss you. Go ahead.
I did double up on Snelling.
There you go. So
I
it can be done.
You went to before I pulled the plug.
Some people finish those. I
guess
but
I got second in the 40s race, so I was like, that's fine.
Gotcha. So how did that road race finish for you then? That was the first one.
It was a fun race. I mean, it was super. It was hard. It was hard to kind of understand the race dynamics. Like you would have an attack that would go, and there was also 3 or 4 teams that were pretty heavily represented. Mino Rip, Best Buddies, some of the teams that are doing the D1 USA Crit stuff were pretty well represented. Travis McCabe was there. Owen Schott, the Mino Rip guys, and Michael Hernandez I learned he was kind of the hitter. He was Florida Velo when I raced or saw him race in the fall, and now he's on the Best Buddies team with a couple other guys. They have a pretty stacked team, and so I was just kind of going to sit in, and I didn't really have any aspiration. I thought, if I can finish, if I finish top 20, I'll be ecstatic in this road race. And so just sitting in, I didn't initiate any attacks. I didn't really go with any. I went with a couple, but it's like these attacks would go, and 3 or 4 guys would go, and no one would take a pull. It was just one guy would pull, everyone would sit on, and then they would just sit up, and it would come back together, and it was just kind of surgy that way. But an attack went with about 2.5 laps to go, so maybe 30 miles left, and Chaz was kind of up next to me. Tyler, a vegan cyclist teammate, Chaz Turman. Those guys went, and I said, Chaz, that's the move. Go with that. And Chaz bridged across, and they got 5 guys up the road, and we didn't see him again. And so everyone was just kind of riding, trying to figure out.
There's that race IQ you were looking for. It came through for you, or for someone else.
Yeah, hey, do that, because I don't have the legs to do it right now, but hopefully you do.
Well, part of that's the recognition, right? I mean, you maybe didn't go, but the understanding.
You know what? I should have, but it's one of those things that maybe if I would have gone, it would have been one too many guys for everyone else to feel comfortable with, and then they would have shut it down. And so most of the teams were represented in that break. The Amino Rip guy, Michael Hernandez was up there. 5 of them got away, and everyone else is just now we're just kind of riding along, some surging and attacking, and we get into the last lap. So I don't know if it's maybe 12 or 14 miles left. And I look up the road, and I see one of the Amino Rip guys, like just by himself, way up there. And I just kind of on this downhill section, I get pretty aero when I ride anyway. now illegally aero with my, arms on top, but
Right.
I'll have to fix that. But I just kind of rolled off the front, and I kind of glanced back, and I'm like, man, no one's following me. So I'll just go into TT mode. And I think I put in probably a 10 or 12 minute solo effort to get up to this guy. As I come up to him, like I said, just me and you, let's go. And we just motored away, and he was, I think, pretty tired. I was probably doing 90-second pulls to his 30-second pulls, and kind of glanced back at 2K to go, and they're coming hard. I mean, it's like the cavalry coming, and I just yelled, dude, we're not going to make it. And he's like, no, we got 30 seconds on them. I'm like, I don't think we're going to make it. And so with about, I think we did our pulls, and probably 300 meters to go, I took a pull, and I just head down and just whatever I had left, 500 or 600 watts for the last, 300 meters. And he didn't come around me. So I ended up getting 5th place. He got 6th, and the time gap between him and the rest of the field was 0.8 seconds. So they were, the thin line between getting 5th place and getting 55th place. If they had caught us before.
And I did see the finished bit. Someone had a video of you. Let me catch up to a few of these things, because they're talking about what. No, this is great. So Richard Diaz, and I put these on the screen here. He said that Vegan Cyclist said the same thing about the center line. So we got confirmation that you're not just Phil Guyman it and making it up here. Timmy Bauer mentions about Bardiani and probably doubling up and Snelling. Bardiani, you won that a few years ago. There was centerline issues with the finish line behind you, because I think you soloed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the first 35.
Yeah, your first foray into
race.
Yeah, I know we heard about
that. I raced that I won. Yeah, I got in a break with Michael Claudio and Touchstone, not Chris Baker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Chris Baker. He's a good sprinter.
Yeah. Yep. And I attacked them on that last kicker and got a gap, and and I heard that, then they came in a little bit after me, 2nd and 3rd, and then the rest of the field came, and I heard some rumbling about the center line on that.
Right. Chuck Hutchinson. Now, Chuck, I don't know if you know him well. He can be a little sarcastic here. He says, you got to initiate all the attacks. Attack yourself when they catch you. So there you go. You don't have the legs. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. This one is from Richard Diaz. Michael Hernandez is on fire, winning everything in Florida. I want to ask Zimney. It seemed like he was a guy that Zimney was going up against in nationals that one year. I could be wrong, but maybe Zimney can join in on that. So Michael Hernandez, he was doing the, is he a younger guy? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I think he's 31, maybe. He's not masters.
So, then I'm mistaken. Yeah. Okay. So you got 5th, obviously, for the road race. That sets you up well for the Omnium. It's road race, time trial,
TT, yeah,
and then the crit. And I'm assuming they're doing the time trial again like they did before, which is Mercs only, or if you're bringing aero stuff, you're getting a time penalty, or was this not the same?
Yeah, 30-second bonus for Mercs.
Okay.
And
how long was the TT?
It was like 9 miles. It was downhill, tailwind out, and uphill headwind back. So it was, and I was pretty wasted. Didn't have a ton of time, maybe an hour and a half to recover before my time. And there was like a tornado warning, so I think they moved all the times up a little bit to try to get everyone in before, I guess, mobile homes started flying around or something.
Have you ridden in a tornado before or done?
No, I've not. It's not on my bucket list either. So
I have a story, and we'll go. Maybe I'll do it later. But it was a super week back in Wisconsin, and we were racing in Sheboygan, and a hurricane or tornado was coming through. They sound the sirens, they split everyone out, and we went and hid under some overpasses. And tell you about that. There's a little Lance Armstrong story going there. But anyway, keep going. Sorry to derail
I thought maybe
you.
you're going to say you saw Helen Hunt under there at the.
No.
Bill Paxton,
Right, Paxton.
Yeah, so then the TT went, and I was hoping to put a little more watts out. I think I averaged 334 watts on the efforts, like 20 minute, 21 minute, something like that, and ended up, I think, 9th place in the TT. And Chaz, who got 2nd in the road race, so props to Chaz, he got 8th, and so he seems to avoid. We have like a local time trial series that's almost in his backyard, but he never comes out for it. And so he was thrilled, I think, to be 2nd in the Omnium, but he also wanted to remind me that he beat me in the TT by a few seconds.
He did.
Yeah, a couple, like two seconds. But yeah. So after the TT, he's sitting 2nd in the P12 Omnium, and I'm still sitting fifth. So, you know, I was like, geez, I thought maybe, you know, top 20
Right.
would be a victory in the road race. I ended up getting fifth and was able to stay in the top 10 in the crit, or I mean in the TT. And so yeah, so going to dinner Saturday night with you know, sitting on fifth in the Omnium was a pretty cool feeling.
Is Chaz on your team, or is he on Tyler Pierce's team?
Yeah, so they're Ride Bikes Bro. But
Okay.
we have Ride Bikes Bro on our kit. So
you felt affiliated.
At some point, Tyler's gonna do. I don't know if we're gonna get socks or what. I don't talk, you know, all those high dollar details of Masters team sponsorship. But yeah, so we got ride bikes here. But no, we train a lot together. We're all local here. We do a lot of group rides and stuff. And but yeah, different team. But you know, I would have gladly, you know, rode for them or worked for them if they wanted to. But that's kind of how it worked out.
Okay. So who else was out there? You and Chaz, and then I know Tyler Pierce was out there. I believe.
Then,
is that
Nick,
correct?
Yeah, and then Nick Beard, aka the Racing Realtor.
Okay.
Also, so there's three guys from Tyler's team: Tyler, Nick, and Chaz.
Okay.
And then it was myself, and then I brought a kid, Stephen Pimentel. He's only 23. He's still a Cat 4. I took him to Florida with us last time we went. He's on our elite development team. So we don't really, you know, he was gonna go to Texas with me. He actually talked me into it. I think in part because you have to be 25 to rent a car, and he's 23. So he's like, Tucker, you'd really love this. It's 2 road races and a TT. It's in Crockett, Texas. Airfare's only $100 out of LA. And I'm like, so yeah, I registered for it as we were flying to Florida. So that's who all I think went from kind of NorCal. This
Ryan Kaler says Team Swift Masters. Mark, I don't know what that is, but evidently you chuckled. So
yeah, so Ryan, we took a group of the Swift juniors with us to Florida in October, and Ryan was one of those kids. And I think at least one of them crashed in every race. So they had kits that were pretty tore up, and you know, we stayed at this Airbnb. My teammate Richard and I were kind of the, I guess, responsible adults, chaperones, and they were like, you know, Mark, you couldn't wear a small LEO road suit if you tried. I'm like, give me that tore up one. I'll go. Yes, I threw it on. I grabbed one of their size 50 Bianchi bikes, and I did a couple of sprints in the neighborhood. They got pictures of it. So that was a pretty inside joke on that. So
anyway. Gotcha. Chuck Hutchison, thanks, Chuck, again. I got there 2 Michael Hernandez's. One is super fast. The others are our NorCal friend. Sorry, NorCal friend. Yeah. Zimnig chimes in. We were thinking of Emil Abraham. Yeah, I think they're right. Ex-pro from Atlanta, Masters champ. Okay. Is he out there by any chance? Did you see him at any of these races? Emil Abraham?
I don't think so. I've heard of him. Okay. Yeah, I have a teammate that knows him pretty well. George Shortis, who spent some time in the Atlanta area riding and stuff. So, but no, I don't know Emil.
So before we get to the exciting part of the crit here,
of it, yeah,
right. So you're going to go out and do that race in Texas, and you said it got canceled because everyone might have seen the big pile up on the road out there in Texas. And I guess they're having some bad weather, so that's why it was canceled.
Yeah. It was the message said, they sent an email out Thursday morning and said, hey, it's on. Looking forward to, you know, having some racing, and then at like 3:30 our time in the afternoon, they're like, USA Cycling has assessed the situation and they don't feel it's safe to race given the pending winter storm and probably the 58 car pile up on I-35 or later in the day. And so fortunately I procrastinate on packing because I was going to drive to LA Thursday night, and I hadn't even packed my bike yet, because that would have really sucked. You know, you get your bike all packed away, then it's canceled. You have to just immediately take it out and put it back together. But yeah, that would have been the Davy Crockett Classic. So hopefully that gets rescheduled in a time slot that works. That'll be warmer, because it was, I think the high was going to be 38 and the low was 19 or 20 degrees. So not ideal road racing weather.
Have you raced out in Texas?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know what it would have been. When I was younger, we did Mr. Gotti's tour of Texas, and it was like a whole month of, I think it was in February and March, it might have been over 2 months. And it would have helped your race IQ, and in the sense that positioning and wind are a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, guttered, and it's crazy for, who knows what it would have shown up for as far as the field goes, but those kind of things are just different, right? We get a lot of climbing out here. We do different rides. It's all good.
It was, that race sold out on Bike Reg really quick. So I think there's a lot of pent up demand.
Yeah.
And because it's located about 2 hours from Dallas and 2 hours from Houston, it was expected to be a huge turnout. So,
well, we'll look for that in the future. Richard Diaz, when are you guys coming back to Florida?
I'm looking at the calendar. So I don't know. Chain of Lakes is coming up. It's ideal, if you're going to spend the time and resources to travel, to get 2 races in at least, if you can. And so to go for a 1-day road race. I think there's a Polecat Grand Prix in Tennessee on a motorsports circuit race. I was looking at that, and I was looking it's a 1-day, but maybe double up. But the Masters race ends, and then there's 5 minutes for the P12. So not ideal. So hopefully soon. It's the only thing I'm looking at right now on the calendar. So
how are the courses out there as far as like I think here part of our big problem is to get a town to permit anything, legally permit. I mean, like get one from the USA Cycling. So how is it out there? Were they doing them just normal?
I think so. I mean, these were the
well, as far as like venue goes, right?
Yeah, the road race was kind of in the middle of nowhere. So just real country, rural roads. They thought, the roads, they were warning you, there's a section of road that's really rough pavement, and so I'm all prepared, to put the blue Loctite on all my bottle cage bolts and whatnot. Right. And I get through a whole lap, and I'm like, where was the rough part? They haven't seen rough like you've seen rough till you've raced Madera Stage Race, or some of the Copperopolis, some of the fun rough roads that we have out here. But no, so it was rural. The crit venue was on the grounds of where the NHRA drag racing Gator Nationals are. Yeah. And so it wasn't in a town; it was kind of out in a motorsports complex, and so that's, I don't know if that helped with permitting for them or how that worked.
Right. Zimney asks, Mark, are you going to race Eamon Lucas's Fort Ord race?
Is that the one on the beach? Is that a
no, that was Cross Nash World Championships.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's in Monterey or something.
Yeah, down in Fort Ord. I saw that he was posting. I think it's it's some people, you bring some cash and you're going to do a group ride, and then someone that finishes ahead of everyone else gets maybe a pot of cash. So maybe we'll talk to Iman about
I don't know, Brian. Put the details in the comment. Maybe see if it.
I think that he posted on the NCNCA page, so you probably find it there. Yeah, I'm surprised you're not trolling that page a little bit more.
No, it's better to be trolled than to troll. So.
Is it? I don't know. It's fun time to poke the bear. I don't know.
I should try it.
Okay, so Texas is off for now.
Texas is off.
So you're going to do the crit, and you decide to do the Masters before you have. I mean,
yeah.
You got a chance of going top 5 here for the Omnium, and you're going to throw it all away. Was there any prizes out there?
Yeah, I got cash for the road race. Okay. Place. Being the experienced racer that I am, I walked off and didn't claim it, so I sent an email to the Fritz in the mail. Yeah. So I don't know. I paid down to 6, so I don't know what the dollar is. I thought it was. I don't want to jinx it by asking. It might be less. If they know, I don't know how much it's supposed to be.
There's always when I was racing, that sometimes they'd put up a big prize list. It'd be like 10 grand for a crit, and you're like, oh, great. Yeah. But they'd pay it, maybe 20 deep, and it was so top heavy. You got top 10, and it's $1 more than the person behind you, and it's all. Once it's out of the top 5, it's like $100 split between 15 people. So, but congratulations on getting your money.
Yeah, so 5th place in the Omnium, and the only way I was going to maintain 5th place in the P12 Omnium, I think, was if the crit was canceled. I mean, my placing in the Omnium was immediately going to drop as soon as they blew the whistle. So I mean that.
What was the crit? Was it on the Speedway? Is that the one? Is that
it was? Yeah, it's just twisty. Okay. It had a chicane in it, and it was a nice, good pavement. It was a really fun course. but I'm not a crit guy. Like I'm trying, I'm learning. That's my biggest struggle, I think, because I moved up through the categories so quickly,
Yeah.
and did a lot of breakaway stuff, and those
You're
were
off
my
the front.
successes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like riding, 4 or 5 deep with guys that are, or abreast that are really comfortable doing it, and they're a little on the aggressive side, and maybe a little on the chirpy side too, while they're doing it. I just so I thought, I'll race the 40 plus, and I told myself I'll just kind of sit in, surf wheels, and look at the course. And of course, I get into the race, and Owen Schott's in the race with me, and I kind of got to know him from racing over there a little bit, and got in a breakaway with him and another crit in Georgia, and so I knew he was a good guy to kind of stay around. We ended up they had 3 bonus preem laps, and I think the game plan was to kind of counterattack right after those bonus preem laps on the points for the 40 plus. And I think we got into Owen and Bruno got in a breakaway, and I was like 6 wheels back, and they'd opened up about a 80-yard gap, and I thought I need to be up in that. And so I just kind of went all in. There was a hairpin turn, and it kind of had stretched out, and they were kind of putting some real estate between them and all of us. And so I kind of swung around. I just freight trained everyone and caught up to them and yelled up, and they jumped on my wheel, and we ended up staying away. I think we put like, I don't know, a minute or something on them. Came down to the last lap, and cat and mouse, and I think I'm more the mouse than the cat in the in the 3-man. How's it going to shake out? And neither one of them kind of pulled through on the last laps. I thought, well, I'll hold 200 watts. That's like recovering, and they are doing whatever they're doing behind me. And then about 300 yards out, I think Owen, I guess, dropped back as third wheel and tried to kind of start a sprint really deep, really far out. And so he comes around, and Bruno is closing on his wheel. And so I'm just now trying to catch up. And I was able to catch up to Owen and pass him at the line for second in the 40 plus crit. And so we finished Bruno, me, Owen, kind of 1, 2, 3. And but my legs were starting to feel it a little bit. And I'm thinking, gosh, that wasn't exactly conserving and saving for the P12. But when you get in a race, it's hard to remember not to go for everything. So
Chuck, the archaeologist, cycling turned coach now, he's telling you got to do the Sac River rides, get your crit pack levels up, comfort levels up. I don't know. You probably have plenty of racing you can do down where you're at. He's not in Sacramento. Mark, that is. To do exactly what you're talking about. Or, I think maybe the best is just do as many crits back to back, like let's say let's pretend we have normal racing again, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 45 now. I could do, 45s, 35s, P12. And so, you could do 3 crits in a day, and it's fitness wise, it helps, but it's also great for comfort. Yeah. Well, I've tried those actually.
Wow. Yeah.
So anyway, you have training races. You probably
we do, but they're not. I mean, it's not the same. It's not. I mean, if you get 20 guys to turn out, there might be 4 or 5 guys at your fitness caliber, and it's not like I think it's to do as many big field crits as you can, and so I tried to do a lot of CBR stuff when I could to drive to LA, because it's about 3.5 hours for me, and so. But
how did those work out for you?
I got in a breakaway. It's great when I get in a breakaway. They're fun, I got in a breakaway with Phil Tinsman, and he killed me on the last lap, but I managed to hold on to second. And that's like a 70. Actually, I think that was pre-COVID. That was 2020 in January, and it might have been 100 guys in that race, because it was 40 plus, 50 plus combined, but scored separate. And then the P12 was huge, and you got Legion down there and that and stuff, but yeah, so race more crits, Mark, and double up. So.
You might be underplaying your abilities. Obviously, you're doing a 100-person crit. I mean, you play to your strengths, right? You're not telling someone, a climber guy to start learning how to sprint and to bang elbows with that. I mean, I'm not saying that's what you are, but you're a breakaway, a lot of power there. So you're doing what you're doing. So I don't know if there's a problem. Well, let's hear about the P12 race. Maybe there is a problem.
There wasn't a problem until there was a problem. No, I mean, the one thing that is seared into my brain is line up first. start at the front.
Yeah.
And so I was, on the line front inside and ready to roll. And, they were lined up however many deep and wide to get it going. It started out and I stayed, front third, for the first probably 30 minutes. And I was just, my legs were starting to hurt. And I looked down like, shoot, we're not even halfway. I think so this is 70 minutes and we're not even at the 35-minute mark. So I thought, hypoxic Mark is thinking, well, I'm just going to sit up and just jump on the back. And I'm going to surf wheels from the back on a race from a hairpin with guys that are, pulling 900 watts out of the hairpin every lap and according to that. And so I really quickly realized this is dumb. I was actually able to recover more by staying in the field and protected. There was a big crosswind section and stuff. So I had enough juice to try to get back into the field. And as I did, I felt like I was on that whatever gopher prehistoric guy in the movie Ice Age with the little acorn. And like I'm going towards the iceberg and it's crumbling right as I get to it. So I'm catching up to, I'm closing gaps, but as I'm catching the guys, they're dead. They're falling off the back as I'm catching them. And so I'm just kind of like doing this for about 3 laps and the rest of it was just shattering apart. And I almost got back to the guy that was not falling off the back. And I think common sense or the leg screaming stop finally got the best. And I just pulled out with like 35 minutes in or something. So
isn't it amazing you're sitting there, you're in a comfort spot, not that bad. And just the difference of trying to close a gap and then how you just go a little bit over threshold, maybe a little anaerobic, and then it's a trigger and it just keeps going.
It was rampage, right? I mean, I didn't even look at I purposely didn't look at my power the entire crit because I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see how much damage I was inflict. Yeah. But I mean, the only time it ever makes sense, it seems like, is if I'm in a breakaway and I'm trying to monitor and measure that power. But I wasn't going to get in a break there. So Michael Hernandez won the sprint. He won the road race and he won the Omnium. So
how'd you finish on the Omnium then?
I only dropped 2 points. Because the points only went down to 20th. So even if I would have stayed in, I would have had to finish above 20th to even get 1 point. And so that was my justification afterwards for saying, Mark, that wasn't so bad. You probably weren't going to get top 20 anyway. But yeah, I finished, I think, 7th. I dropped 2 spots in the Omnium. Chaz only dropped 1. I don't know that he finished inside the top 20. He didn't get the Omnium points. But no one that was close, got enough points to move up. So he ended up 3rd in the Omnium, which I thought was cool. So yeah. So
was he the top? Yeah, was he the top for his team then out there?
Yeah.
I imagine.
Nick is their sprinter, and I think he was in the bunch that was in the sprint, and I think he might have finished 12th or something in the crit, but he didn't even do the TT. He's like, Nick's like, I'm not playing with your Omnium. So
right. Okay.
Pass.
Right. Richard Diaz says here, I'll be at Chain Lakes. We'll definitely look you up, Mark. I'm 50 plus. Would like to say what's up. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm at race age 46. So I don't know. Chain of Lakes, maybe. I definitely have some hall pass points accumulated by actually being here for Valentine's Day on Sunday instead of. So maybe I can parlay that into going back out in a couple weeks.
Are you asking Richard to go out on Valentine's? Is that what I'm hearing?
No. I'm staying home on Valentine's Day this Sunday. In case you forget, Tyler, it's this Sunday. Don't forget.
My wife has already told me. So.
Yeah. Well, I've got 4 Valentines with 3 daughters. So it's high stakes here.
Chuck says, "Dang, it looks like Mark went from a Cat 5 to a 1 in 4 years. That's legit." Yes. Welcome to back to cycling, Chuck. We missed you, but yeah, Mark's the new Chuck. So
hey, I like that. Okay, I think I don't know.
No,
that's good.
And it's California. When we're out here, Richard says, "Sorry, no Valentine." When we're in California, I've said this before. California, and it's changing, I imagine, but California, Colorado, you learn how to race in those states. You can compete anywhere you want in the U.S. at least, for the most part. And doing it in NorCal with all these, former national world champs that we have out here, and what you've done, it's very legit. And when you came on the scene for me at Bariani and killed, you just submit Claudio Baker, John Novikov was out there. There's a bunch of good guys. Very much a lot of credibility for you. So congrats.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. So what's next then?
So there's a gravel hugger, Shasta gravel hugger. Claudio, I think
I've heard about that.
Claudio put some out there on, I think it was on the NCNCA page. It's like a 100-mile gravel. I've never done a gravel race. So I'm excited for the paved sections and terrified for if there's any technical sections, because I do crash a lot off road. I have a mountain bike and I crash out a lot. And I have a gravel bike and I crash that too. So
have you been putting in some time with it, or you're just gonna wing it?
Nope. I have 650B wheels on it right now, on my gravel bike, and so I'm gonna swap over the 700s on it. And no, I'll probably just go out and ride it. I don't know. I don't know what gravel racing really means, other than, I've seen the videos. It's a mass start.
Yeah.
So I'm just Richard Gable, teammate of mine, and I are gonna road trip up to Wairika and race the Shasta gravel hugger, I guess. And so I'll find out if I love gravel or hate gravel racing.
Well, yeah, the little bit that I've done, not racing, but just riding with it, I've really enjoyed it. And I'm tending to think, the whole trend with cycling has been kind of going that kind of way, maybe the Gran Fondo stuff as it is. So now you get where USA Cycling is not doing any racing, and you're going to probably have, at least for guys that aren't willing to travel to Florida or Texas, unsanctioned rides, and the gravel ones are happening. So I may have to change my whole attitude.
That one is it's sanctioned by Orba.
Oregon, well, they're not USA Cycling.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So and they sell you like a 1-day license for $2 or something. So that's what's next. Other than maybe sneaking out to Florida in the next couple of weeks, we'll see.
And then we'll head out here. But is Florida still happening for? I mean, you're saying sneak out to Florida. It's not much of a sneak, but is it? They're still doing a whole panoply of late races. Then they have them planned out, or is it just a few?
No, I mean, there's a Top View Sports has their website, and they have a full race calendar. And they don't have race flyers up for the races that are in June and July and that kind of stuff. But they have them out for the next probably month and a half or so. You can look at their different race flyers. For me and for a couple of my teammates, the goal this year was we're gonna race the USA Crit Series. We signed up for Tulsa Tough last year, that got canceled. So I'm trying to figure out how that works, because some races are D1 teams only, like segregated, and other races, like I raced San Rafael, I guess 2019. With all the D1 teams, I doubled up and raced in that one and finished that one. So
then that's not an easy one either.
But yeah, so that's kind of, but that doesn't start till June.
We had looked at doing maybe like a Boise and then Utah trip. I think that was the combo back to back, at least like a week there. And I imagine a lot of these races, they have not only just the main race itself, but they're probably having other categories during those days as well. So
they all do actually. And so, but to race a Masters race and then to be able to double up and try the P12 would be fun.
Brian Zimney says your Orba license comes with a free 8-ball, not to be used in competition. Hey, now, just because everything's free out or legal out there in Oregon.
That's I got.
I think that's what he was saying. I don't know. He's just messing with the Oregon people.
I don't play pool. So I don't know.
Oh, or is a pool thing? Okay.
I don't know.
I thought it was a drug reference.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay. Last thing we'll go here. Chuck says, reach out to the D1 teams and see if they have an open spot. I think that's a very good, especially for you. They might be willing to throw you in on one of the races.
Hey, D1 teams, hit me up
for the D1 races only.
Yeah, for D1 races, right? Yeah, I there was a form on the USA Crits website you can fill out, and so I filled it out. The phone hasn't been ringing off the hook, so But they haven't heard about my Swamp Classic road race finish yet. So
Right. That you held on to by 0.8 seconds or whatever it was.
yeah, baby.
All right.
No. Anyway,
I appreciate you coming on. Anything, the last thing you want to say before we head out?
Tri-Point this Sunday.
Is that, are you supposed to be telling people about that?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Someone told me keep it quiet.
Yeah, come race and get your vaccine. No.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. No hate to Mark. If you want to put any hate out there in the world, send it my direction. I'll be glad to troll with you all you want. Thanks, Mark.
Way easier to hate. Yeah.
Right. 223 episodes. Mark Tucker, we appreciate you. Velo Kings Racing, presented by ATP Coaching. Is that right? Something like that?
You got it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. I plan to do an episode on Phil Guyman. My love for him never ceases. All right. Thanks.